Hi friends, we are back again to continue with our main topic, that is about natural vegetation. In the last class we saw how important these natural vegetations are to maintain the eco balance system. And today let us see how they are distributed. The trees, the plants that we see, they are not equally found everywhere. Some places one type of trees are found, in another type of trees are found, and so on. So today we are going to see how they are distributed. That is our topic today, the distribution of natural vegetation. You can follow in your textbook, page number 18. So the growth of vegetation depends primarily on temperature and moisture. You can underline two things that on which the growth of vegetation depends. One is the temperature, another one is the moisture. Temperature and moisture. So if temperature is too high, like a desert region, then we don't find trees growing there. There may be some kind of small bushes and hedges may be there. And also moisture, the water element, the places that does not receive enough rain, then there also trees may not grow. So the temperature, a moderate temperature means the trees will be growing in a very healthy way. And high temperature and very low temperature also is not suitable for the growth of trees. And also the moisture, the water element should be there in the soil. Then the major vegetation types of the world are grouped as, so the entire vegetation that is found in the world, we can divide them into different categories. You can say they are forests are there. Then what else? Grasslands are there. Then shrubs are there. And tundra. So these are the four types of vegetation in the whole world we can divide into. How many are there? First one is forest, second one is grassland, third one is shrubs, and third one is tundra vegetation. So these are the four types of the vegetation in the whole world, not only in India but the whole world. It will come into these four categories. In areas of heavy rainfall, so areas which are receiving very heavy rainfall, that is near the equator and so we receive the heavy rainfall. So huge trees will thrive. So where there is very heavy rainfall, huge trees will be growing. Trees will be growing very tall and very big, very healthy. It depends on the rainfall. Then the forests are thus associated with areas having abundant water supply. So the places where there is heavy rainfall or abundant water supply is there, you will find plenty of trees growing there. We don't have to plant them, we don't have to take care of them, they will grow very lavishly. And such areas are turning to be forests, where there is heavy rainfall. The trees will grow very healthy, very big, very huge, and mostly those areas are turning out to be forests. So if you want to have a good forest, a heavy thick forest, we need to have plenty of rainfall there. And as the amount of moisture decreases, the size of trees and their density reduces. So, in an area where there is a heavy rainfall, we will find trees are growing very tall and they are very thick. Very next to next you will find trees. And as we move from this place to away from this place, the rain becomes less and less. Then, as the amount of rain is becoming less, what happens? The size of the trees also becomes smaller. So here where there is a very high rainfall, the trees are very tall. But if you move away from there, we will find the places where the rain is less. So as the rain is becoming less and less, the size of the trees also will be becoming smaller and smaller. And also we will find here the forests are very thick. Where there is a heavy rainfall, the forests are very thick, trees are very close by growing. But as we move, we will find the number of trees are less. They are not growing very close by, but distance is there. That means the rain is affecting the growth of the trees. The more rain, the better growth. The less rain, very less growth. Then short standard trees and grasses grow in the regions of moderate rainfall, forming the grasslands of the world. So here where there is a heavy rainfall, we will find forest growing. And as we move, we find rain is reduced, and so we will find grassland there. So next to forest, where there is a heavy rainfall, forest will grow. And where there is a moderate rainfall, not very high and not very less, moderate rainfall, you will find grass is growing there. Even bamboo is considered as a grass. So such a kind of grass, cannot be called as a tree, but it is a grassland like bamboo and other tall grasses. They will be growing in a place where there is a moderate rainfall, not too heavy rainfall and not very less as well, but a medium level of rainfall. So in these places there will be standard trees. Standard means it will not grow very tall. The growth is standard. The growth has been blocked due to lack of water. So it will grow to certain height and then it will remain like that. It will not grow higher and higher, taller and taller. It will remain there, and other grasses also will grow. Then thorny shrubs and shrubs also in dry areas of low rainfall. Then another type of trees that are growing is shrubs. Shrubs and thorny bushes. We can understand what is shrubs. There are small plants which we will find in the desert regions and so where it is dry, where there is not enough rain. This kind of trees will be growing, and their leaves will not be very flat, but it will be like thorns, in order to reduce the evaporation of the water from the leaves from the plants. The nature has given them that facility. Instead of having very broad leaves, they will have very thin leaves like a needle. They will have very sharp thorns, like that is functioning as the leaves of that plants. So that is because if they have broad leaves, they will be losing a lot of water. So they are found in the desert regions, and if they lose the water what is stored in the stem of the plant, then the plant will die. So because they have very less water, and so they preserve that water in the form of in the stem, and they preserve it and they protect it by having this kind of thorn leaves. So it is called, that is the third area where the rain will be very low. So in such areas, plants have deep roots and leaves with thorny and waxy surface reduce the loss of moisture through transpiration. So they will have thorny leaves and the deep roots will be going very deep. So if there is some element of water there deep down the earth, then they will be able to take it, because top layer will be always dry. In the desert region, the top layer will be always dry and it will be sandy and there will not be any water. So their roots go very deep under the soil so that down there may be some water available and they will be able to use it with the long roots. Then another thing we find the speciality is they have those waxy surface. The surface will be like wax, applied like wax. That is to protect them or preserve the water content that is there. So it will not be easily lost. So all these are nature's gifts to these plants that to make them, enable them to survive in this hot region, hot climate where there is very less rain. Then the fourth type of trees that we will find in the cold regions, that is tundra region, especially in the polar region and so on. So tundra vegetation of cold polar regions comprise of mosses and lichens. So what kind of plant will be growing there? The polar region, the North Pole and the South Pole, it will be always covered with ice. We can't expect any big trees growing there. It cannot survive because all the seeds that is falling there, it will be frozen and it will never germinate. So we can't expect big trees growing there. But some kind of small plants like mosses and what is this mosses? It is not mosses that is found in the Bible. Moss is the name of a small green plant that will be just spreading on the ground. Then lichens, that is like fungus type. So this kind of small things that are growing on the ice, that is what you will find in the tundra region. So we will repeat once again. Where there is a very heavy rainfall, forests will be growing. And as we move from there, we will find moderate rainfall, and there you will find grasslands, grass is growing. And as we move again, we will find dry region like a desert where there is no enough rain at all. There you will find shrubs growing there. Then if you move towards north or south, we will reach in the polar region, and there the forest or there the vegetation grown is known as tundra vegetation. So remember, it all the growth of the tree depends on the availability of water. Now we shall come back to forests. So forests we can divide them into two. These forests we can divide them into two. You might have heard about two types of forests. One is called evergreen forest, another one is called deciduous forest. So this one is called evergreen and this one is called deciduous forest. So from the name itself we can understand evergreen. Those trees will remain always green. And deciduous forest means it will be having no leaves for some time. In certain season, it will be shedding all the leaves and the tree will be standing alone like a skeleton. Only the tree will be there. No leaf on that, not even one single leaf. All the leaves will be falling down. So that is also a system that the trees are following in order to save from the water evaporation. So but other trees, evergreen trees, they will be shedding their leaves but not all the leaves together. As the leaves get ripened, matured, it will be falling down. But other tender leaves will be always there. So evergreen trees will have some leaves always on the tree. But deciduous forests, the deciduous trees, they will not have leaves on them in certain season, especially the dry season. And when the spring season comes, we can see the new leaves will be sprouting and the tree will be full of leaves. But in the dry season, these deciduous trees will not have any leaves on them. That is nature's work on them. So evergreen forests do not shed their leaves, but simultaneously. And deciduous forests shed their leaves in a particular season to conserve loss of moisture through transpiration. So we can understand which will be the area where these trees will be growing. So evergreen trees mostly it will be growing in a place where there is enough rain. But deciduous trees will be growing where there are less rain. Therefore they need to preserve that water that is there within the tree. So one way of preserving that water, of preventing the loss of water, is shedding the leaves. So all the leaves will be shed together and the tree will be standing there like a dry tree. But it is not dry, it is still alive. When the season comes, when the rain, with the first rain, it will be sprouting, all the leaves will be, new leaves will be appearing. So both types of forests are further classified as tropical or temperate based on their location in different latitudes. So these forests we can divide them again into temperate and tropical. So this tree will be, temperate tree will be there and tropical tree also will be there. Tropical forest also will be there. So all these trees, all these forests we can divide them into two. They are, one is tropical, or we can divide them into, call them into temperate forest. And what is the basis for the division? It is depending on the location, in which location the trees are growing, or in which location the trees are found. So you have learned in detail the distribution and the association animal life in the previous class. So I hope you remember previous year also you had learned about the trees, where these temperate trees are found, where the tropical trees are found, and so it all depends on the area where they are growing. And today, there are many more people in the world than there were 2 centuries back. So if you look at the population 200 years ago on this earth, we will find the population was very low, very less. But now, the present day, the population is very high. The number of people found on this earth is very high. So to feed these growing numbers, so to feed them, because the population is increasing and we need to provide food for them, we need to find food for them. So what we have to do? So large areas of forests have been cleared. So there were a lot of trees were growing. The area of forests were very large. But as the population is increased, people found that the farmland is not enough. The cultivation that we are doing, the crops that we are getting is not enough to feed all the people in the world. The population is rising. So what did the people do? They thought the forests are not so necessary. So they began to cut down the trees and create more areas for cultivation. That's why today we find the forests are very less. Very few countries have got large areas of forest, and most of the other countries they are cutting away the trees and making forest land into farmland. That is a very sad thing that is happening. And forest cover all over the world is vanishing rapidly. So it is not only in the case of India, but even in other places, other countries, the forest is vanishing. When people think that forests are not important, therefore they are cutting down the trees and cultivating there. And there is an urgent need to conserve the valuable resource. So there is a very much emergency, an urgent need is there that we need to make the people aware about the forest, how important forest is. So they are helping us to keep the balance between the different spheres, and the animals and the birds all are surviving because of these trees. Under their shelter, they are providing food, they are providing oxygen and so on. And if the forests are not there, the wild animals will start coming into the place where people are living, and they will disturb the cultivation, they will disturb the people and so on. So the forests are very much important and necessary for us, and we need to make the people aware that trees are very important. And on our own, we can plant new saplings, new trees where there is free space is there. So a lot of areas will be laying down vacant or waste in our land. So we can plant trees there so that we will be helping the nature to become a better place for us to live. So take this as a very serious issue that the human beings are facing or the earth is facing, and so try to solve that problem on our own in a little way by planting few trees and so on. So I hope you all will take it seriously and try your level best to plant more trees in your surroundings, in your area, and make the environment a better place to live. So thank you for listening, and we will meet you again in the next day with another topic. Until then, bye.